I guess I'm stuck in the 90s. Didn't know if my phone started there. Guess I'm stuck in the 90s though, because I was thinking about industrial. Like, it wasn't just a straight up type of music, but I mean, I guess it was. Well, there's question number one of the day. Was industrial a type of music, or was then there was a derivative, so then an industrial metal? Because then both were definitely products of the 90s. So I was kind of just, I guess, going down a memory lane, then hearing, in particular, seeing how then there is, of course, Ministry. I guess they're doing a tour or something. I don't know. I saw their name come up. I never really was a fan. And I, through that non-fandom, but then being a fan of Rigor Mortis, I was always reminded that Mike Scaccia, the guitar player from Rigor Mortis, he was in Ministry. So through that, I've always been tempted, but then forget to go back to those Ministry albums that I guess he was on. It seems like he was like a founding force. I think that's what I saw about Ministry, like a biopic documentary type thing. But either way, I didn't care so much. And I don't know if I'm a fan of that Al Jurgensen guy. Nonetheless, been thinking about like industrial stuff because we were, for one, jamming it at work. And so if I ever did like industrial, because, you know, if that was in the 90s then, and it was, I would have been rather young, discovering stuff and then discovering it in the old ways. So listen up, kids, if you don't remember these days, that, especially being very young, so like, you know, like what most people would say to like accumulate money, like, if I got an allowance, I think I got like 50 cents. Because my parents' attitude was, hey, you're learning life shit and you're dirty dishes anyway, so why the hell are we paying you? So I think there was that. And then maybe going door to door for like school selling magazines. Thanks, school. Teaching me how to become like a Jehovah's Witness or like a scammer for like dumb subscription junk you don't need. And I lived in the country, so like, I don't know, like mom and dad were just like, hey, we're not gonna pay you for doing around the house shit, that's fine. But like, wasn't it kind of dangerous for like a 9-year-old boy to be like riding his bike on a 45 mile per hour road? I don't know the kilometer breakdown for you guys, everybody else, but fast country road, then miles away, to like riding to like old ladies that will or will not answer the door, to then make like a fraction of whatever the hell you were selling magazines for the school. But you know, those were the ways to describe that, like, hey, if I want to buy a CD to check out this band that, you know, I'm a freaking kid in the 90s, I don't know the difference. And in particular, to bring up the 90s, like, because I don't think everybody then at that point knew the difference of these labels. Like, what does industrial describe? Like, I had no idea that if it was ever even used as a term to describe Ministry or the other band I was going to bring up is Screw, SKREW. Do you remember that band? Like, you know, I worked my ass off to get that extra. I think it was like $30. That, you know, your $30 definitely went a little bit longer than it would today, but I'm pretty sure CDs were still like $10. You know, a brand new release was probably, does anybody remember? Do you have an old price tag on something? I'd want to say that, like, woof, that sounds expensive. A brand new release would be around $13, maybe even 15. So, you know, you work your ass off. So what's $30 going to do? It's going to buy you 2 new releases after shipping, especially. So there was definitely like, fuck, man, I got this Ministry CD. I didn't. I'm just using it as an example because I said it. they're like, fuck, man, I got this Ministry CD and I kind of don't like it. Because especially using Industrial, questioning if it was a realm of its own. I think it is. I know I bought like a Marilyn Manson CD, the one with like Beautiful People, and I was like, fuck, like, I don't know if I like this. So then you just like brought it every day on the bus. Not because it's like you're forcing it, it's just kind of like, I own it now. Like, I liked that one song, hence why I bought it. It looked cool. But like, what's all this like intro bullshit? Like, just start jamming, damn it. Why is every song like heavy? Like, what the fuck? So I think I got wise that like you'd go to like there was this place in the Cleveland area, and I didn't live in Cleveland. There's a lot of work, young kids that do or do not understand this story, to like find fucking music. Lived in the country, had to sell magazines, 50 cents for allowance, shoveling shit. Luckily, my neighbors next door owned horses, and she was like, I'll give you $20 a shit shoveling. Like, fuck yeah. Like, let me know. Like, this shit shoveling can't be soon enough. Because there's like a bunch of CDs I want to buy. So you were like, it was kind of like, just an appreciation, I guess I'm describing. Because let's get back to the hard work. I didn't live in Cleveland, so like, oh shit, like we're going to grandma's, or we're going to the cousin's birthday. Like, can we go to CD Warehouse, like in Parma, like a suburb of Cleveland, not far from where my cousins like would have been. Like, can we go there before his birthday party? Because I got a list of like stuff I want to check out. Because CD Warehouse was a used CD store, and they would let you listen to stuff before you bought it. They wouldn't let you obviously unwrap the new shit. So sometimes you got fucked. That it, like, you know, Ministry is probably new, but I'm pretty sure I listened to Ministry before I bought it. Because I never bought it. Definitely never bought Ministry. Marilyn Manson, yes, bought that brand new. I don't think I took that at CD Warehouse. I think that was like the radio and then just hearing the hype. I think I was more wary than like hype wasn't good enough. Like, you know, I never was like, maybe that's like a character builder or something. But in a lot of ways too, I'm going off on slightly a side tangent. But like, you know, when reviews and trends and hypes were kind of like, I think a little bit, they still similarly have the same effect, but you can kind of like, at least in this case, entertainment, a movie, music, whatever, you can kind of still check it, you know, with streaming and stuff nowadays, that if there was a trend, there was a hype, you know, this Marilyn Manson guy is the you know, the Antichrist embodied in flesh, like, and then the Columbine thing, you could still kind of substantiate it in a modern day, where at least in a CD Warehouse sense, like, I still probably just would have waited to then go and jam it, than like take BMG's word for it, and then flat out buy it. But maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just trying to give myself credit. Nonetheless, an old guy perspective, looking back at that, it's certainly slightly a character builder to like teach you about like becoming better and wary about trusting somebody's word. So fuck trends. I think that was like an article about Prong or something. There you go. Back to the story though, of like question about Industrial, because like anything I did buy, like I still do the first few Prong albums. They're kind of more, they could have been lumped in though to New York hardcore in a way, because I guess a lot of that stuff, Agnostic Front, Crumbsuckers, Cro-Mags, the list goes on, would have all still been like, you know, the New York scene, so like playing CBGB, so Prong, Tommy Victor, like working sound at CBGB. Like, I think maybe they just had their ties in that, because like early Prong is just a league of its own and still more metal than it is punk/hardcore. Nonetheless, love that stuff. Primitive Origins, Prong, one of my favorite albums still to this day. Force Fed's pretty awesome still. Then it kind of got around Beg to Differ, Prove You Wrong, stuff like that. Because then they started calling Prong industrial metal, around like Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck. So we're on like the Cleansing album, if you don't know the Prong catalog. And that's still 90s. And that was actually preview, like Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck. Like hearing that on, for anybody from the area, it was called V-Rock, not Z-Rock. There was a Z-Rock, but V-Rock, The Underground. It was out of Streetsboro. Does anybody remember that? Because nobody seems to remember that, and they always bring up like, yeah, Z-Rock. It's like, no, it was V-Rock. It was underground. They called it The Underground. They even had like a jingle for it, and it sounded like Pete Steele singing for it, because that was like, that's what it was, like the underground, like something like that. Nobody seems to remember that. Out of Streetsboro, don't remember the station address, because all that would be helpful information for you to agree or disagree. Nonetheless, Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck was on that. That's how I heard of Prong. And then I think I did go to CD Warehouse to listen to it, The Cleansing, and then I bought that. But they did label Prong as like industrial metal. And when like your Marilyn Manson's your Ministry, so the two, Ministry didn't really care. Marilyn Manson got bought it, got burnt. So when I started to see like industrial, it was like, well, now I am falling into like, if it's being labeled that, it probably might have something close to it. So when I did like stuff like Screw, and I was like, oh, it's industrial metal. I was like, I don't know. But now listening back to it today, like I totally agree. Like I totally hear the industrial in it. 9 Inch Nails, like that would have been, I guess, straight up industrial. So I guess they're like, I agree. Like it's two different musics. Like there's metal and then there's industrial. Because that was another one to poo-poo. Like the Fuck You Like an Animal song, the music video on MTV, 9 Inch Nails, I couldn't get into it. So for like stuff to be described as industrial metal, I'm like, really? 9 Inch Nails, Ministry, Marilyn. I just can't do it. Still can't do it. Went back in retrospect. Just can't do it. Something about Trent Reznor's voice. But like, so I guess too, going back to Screw though, the stuff that I kind of did like, Prong, stuff I did like that was like industrial metal. I want to like it. I guess like Fear Factory would be kind of labeled that in a little bit of a way. Like that's another one. Like, because it's kind of cool for like what it is. Like, I guess in a way, like it's almost like post-punk. So your Cure, just like the darker goth stuff. Like, it's kind of cool what's going on with it. Like, deep Bauhaus, like, but, like, it's just with, like, an industrial edge then. So, like, the industrial would be, like, chains and, like, work in an industry, I guess, and, like, making it musical, like, and then there's a dark edge to it. Like, it's kind of almost like a David Fincher, 7 somehow, like in looks and feels. Maybe this is just a culmination of like a period piece, but I don't know. There's question number 2. Like, is this making any sense that like the visuals, movies, even The Craft to a degree, maybe that's like where the Marilyn Manson comes in. Like, just somehow it's synonymous with like industrial and horror movies of the 90s. That it's like, I like horror, so like I wanna like it. And you look back, like, you don't like it. The drum, maybe it's the drum machines, maybe it's the trend of it, the individuals, the characters that made this stuff. I don't know. Cause like in retrospect, I used to, like, I had every Screw album. We're kind of listening to the one that I liked the most, me and the producer. And it's like, I don't know if this holds up. Shadow of Doubt was the album that I'm talking about, for if you know the Screw stuff. So there's really a lot of 90s stuff then that, like, I don't really, like, for whatever reason, getting rid of it, because, I had all this stuff. Like, I don't miss it. Kind of glad that, I did get rid of it, and then in a world of digital where I can just listen to it for free to check back, like, So, industrial, metal, do you remember it? Do you like it? Do you think that there's two different, genres of the two. Do you think that it's synonymous with film and the examples that I did? Because it kind of has to be. Especially using David Fincher as an example. I think he would be kind of like the avenue for it, for all the stuff that he made. Like, because then, remember he made the third Alien? And, like, you know, you put the Giger art concept that Alien is, like, that's totally like an art form then of, like, industrial. Because that's, like, definitely what Giger did, like, kind of get, like, more gothic-y, but then modern with, like, you know, using change. He used, you know, it's got money. I mean, I guess to some degree, he could add anyway. But no, like pipes, you know, things that are made in factories and stuff. Totally. You know, a Fear Factory cover would have that. So, I don't know. Or am I just listening off stuff that you're just like, what a reminder. I hate this shit. Or maybe you're like, yes! Oh, fuck yeah, I forgot about Fear Factory and Screw. I love it. I'm dusting them off. Maybe, and that's entirely fine. But let it be known in the comments. We got to get chatty about this crap. By the way, I'm just calling this shit Hellcast at this point. So, Hellcast. No clever title coming off the top of my head right now, but there will be in post. So, thank you for joining me on my ride halfway home from work. Until the next one, I'll talk to you next time.